YouTube, how the hell are you? Slightly different video format for you guys today. We've got a back and triceps workout here, a little bit more long form. I'm gonna show you more of my total sets throughout the workout. And while all that's happening, while you're watching the training, I'm gonna pipe in over here from time to time, talk about the workout, the exercise selection, my general thoughts and feelings. Hopefully you all will learn something, maybe find some entertainment along the way. As you can see, I'm starting with triceps here, and that is not an accident. For myself, my weak points that I'm really trying to bring up this off season are mainly my limbs, my quads, specifically my outer quad sweeps, my bis and tris. If I wait until I've already wrecked my back to touch my triceps, I'm just not going to be able to put as much into it. Something that I'd recommend for anybody trying to bring up your biceps or your triceps is to pair it with a larger muscle group, and then either a few days later or earlier in the week, have a separate arm day. Personally, I prefer to pair biceps with chest and triceps with back. The reason being, I can start with either biceps or triceps, absolutely wreck them, and it's not going to impact the larger muscle group after, because your chest doesn't really need your biceps to be fresh to maximize performance, just like your back doesn't really require your triceps to be fresh to maximize performance. This way, you're able to prioritize what needs prioritizing without sacrificing your intensity on that larger muscle group. So after my V-bar pushdown start, I move on to this seated dip machine from Life Fitness. I do this more like a tricep pushdown, where I'm staying really upright, or as upright as I can in the seat, and just flexing and extending at the elbow. I'm not leaning forward and pushing through with my lower chest like I would in a traditional dip. And from there, I moved on to a hammer strength MTS tricep extension. This machine is a sleeper, guys. Pretty much all the hammer strength MTS machines I actually really like. It's belt loaded versus cable loaded. I don't know enough about the physics of these machines to tell you exactly what the difference is, but I can tell you, feeling wise, it feels better, harder in the stretch at the bottom where you really want the load. Eases off a little at the top. Awesome machine. Look at this douchebag right here. All right, some quick off-season updates. I am 287 pounds fasted morning weight. Conditioning holding pretty damn well at this point. Midsection staying nice and tight, both subcutaneously and viscerally. Still have a vein or two in my abs. So I'm very happy with where I'm at this body weight. It's definitely the leanest and biggest I've ever been at 287 pounds. That's it for triceps. So from there, I moved on to back, and I started out with a straight arm pull down on a cable. This is my go-to movement as a first movement on any back day. I really like starting with a movement like this that really prioritizes the stretch, lengthening the lat, and driving a ton of blood to the lat. That way, when I move on to my heavy rowing, which you're about to see here in a second, My lats are already nice and pumped, and I feel really solid and stable while I'm rowing. One thing that I did want to address in this video relates to some comments that I got on TikTok the other day. Really, it was one commenter specifically. Making some pretty wild claims. Unfortunately, I think their thought process is a pretty common one. First outlandish statement that this commenter made was that an upper-lower split is the best split for everybody, regardless of who you are, no exceptions. I'll address that first, because one thing that I've certainly learned over the last decade of being in this world, or at least adjacent to it, the second you start speaking in absolutes, the second you start saying things like everyone, no exceptions, you're in trouble. Because the truth is, everything about this crazy sport of bodybuilding is so individual and so nuanced that if you are speaking in absolutes for everyone, you're wrong. You've clearly missed something along the way, or one specific method has worked really well for you, so you think that you can apply it to everybody else, but that's just not how bodybuilding works. There are always exceptions. There are always outliers, and anyone who tells you otherwise is either lying to you to sell you something, or they've probably been lied to and sold something. Either way, it's not true. Whew. All right, now that I got that off my chest, these next two exercises are what I would consider the meat and potatoes of the day. The nitty gritty, the X's and O's, if you will. Two big, heavy ass rowing movements. The first of which is this row right here called the Avenger. Probably never seen this machine before. I've never seen this machine before training at this gym. This machine, I kid you not, has got to be my single favorite movement for upper back ever. I do understand enough about physics to tell you why this movement feels so good. That's because the arm that has the plates on the end starts out completely parallel to the floor. That means that gravity is at its absolute heaviest at the very beginning of this movement. The second you pull back and that lever arm tilts upward, you lose a tiny bit of gravity, meaning the weight's going to drop off just a little bit at the top of the exercise, which means that stretch is absolutely excruciating, and I feel pretty much exactly what you want when you're trying to get huge. Which brings us to the main event. My personal favorite back movement, probably in my top 3 favorite movements, period. And that is tried and true, old school as it gets, T-bar rows. Little PR on this top set right here. I ended up at 7 plates on the bar, and I was able to get this for, I would say, 8 or 9, and then a few partials. Both of these rows, I worked up to 1 hard and heavy top set versus doing a top set and a down set, which I do on a lot of other movements. The reason I stick with just 1 working set on both of these rows is that they're both super taxing. I found that if I do 2 sets of either of them, I am absolutely gassed. 1 set each is my sweet spot. Which brings me back to my earlier point that everybody is different. There are no absolutes. There are always exceptions, always outliers. All that to say, what works for me may not work for you. You might need more volume than me. I might need more volume than you. It just depends on the person, as with most things in bodybuilding. And then from there, finished off with some good old-fashioned lat pull-downs on a cable. After these 2 brutal rows, it's always nice staggering over to the corner and just sitting down on a machine and pulling on a cable. You know what I mean? 2 working sets of 12 to 15 right here, just to finish off the lats, shuttle whatever blood is left in my extremities into those suckers so I can finish off with a massive pump. And there you have it for back and triceps. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this different format. I think I'm going to be doing a lot of my training videos, at least, with this format moving forward. Let me know also what you would like to hear me discuss. during this more long form style of training video. If there are questions you would like me to answer, if there are topics you would like me to cover, drop them in the comments below. We'll see them, and I will definitely incorporate some of those questions and topics in these training videos moving forward. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, give it a comment, subscribe, all the things. See you on the next one.